Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about Snippet Man, also known as A$AP Rocky, because after 7 long years he finally dropped his highly anticipated album titled Don't Be Dumb. Let's talk about it. So it may seem like A$AP Rocky went on a huge hiatus that at this point everyone thought he just retired and was just never going to drop this album, but turns out he finally dropped it, and let's just say it, I think the album was good, but certainly not worth the 7-year wait. A$AP Rocky has been getting clowned for the past like almost decade now for just being the modeling guy and the guy who knocked up Rihanna like a couple times, and now they have like 2-3 babies together. Shout out to A$AP Rocky. So let's just talk about it. Was the album worth 7 years to take? Nearly 8 years to deliver? No. However, I think the album is good. It's solid. I don't think the album is bad like some people were saying on the internet here. I am not a diehard A$AP Rocky fan. And I haven't even been a fan of A$AP Rocky since the very beginning. I've only been listening to rap music since 2020. So the 7-year, 8-year wait time for me just doesn't apply to me. It's not relatable. So to me, my expectations weren't anything crazy because I don't really listen to the guy. So I was pretty happy with it. But if you're a diehard A$AP Rocky fan and you've been waiting since 2018 since he dropped the album Testing, this is pretty disappointing. I think the album was good. I think it was solid. But I don't think this album was great or amazing or perfect or anything like that. I think the album had its standouts and highlights throughout the album, with some impeccable performances from A$AP Rocky and some of the features throughout the track list. The album consisted of 17 tracks, going nearly an hour long, with several features from artists like Tyler the Creator, Doechii, Brent Faiyaz, Westside Gunn, Jessica Pratt, Sauce Walka, and several more. And my top 3 favorite tracks on the album had to be Stay Here for Life, featuring Brent Faiyaz, Steal Your Flow, and Don't Be Dumb. I think the album was good. I think the highlight of the album, in my opinion, was certainly the production. And I think he delivered in that regard, which is no surprise because I think A$AP Rocky's production is in higher caliber compared to a lot of traditional street rappers that you would listen to, like someone like 21 Savage, or you would think maybe someone like Future. Like, the production will be better on an A$AP Rocky. This is just a simple fact. So, was the album really worth this wait? No, but I can see why a lot of people were upset and disappointed, or like they was expecting more, because let's be honest, this album wasn't cohesive. It was not. It was all over the place, which is a good and bad thing. Good thing because it's a lot of versatility there that you can see throughout the album. But in my opinion, I don't think that was the smartest thing to do. A$AP Rocky decided to have Punk Rocky be the lead single for this album 2 weeks before the album dropped, which I think was a questionable choice. It's not even a song I liked on the album. I liked about half the album, and I just didn't really like Punk Rocky. It never resonated with me because I'm not looking for A$AP Rocky for these other type of songs. I want to listen to A$AP Rocky for the rapping performances. So when he dropped that as the single, it was very concerning because I was like, why would you want to drop that as your lead single when you're primarily known for being a rapper? So I thought that was an odd decision, but it seems like it's panning out in his favor, I suppose, because I think it fits pretty well with the whole theme of the album, because there really is no theme. It's like all over the place, which again, it's a good and bad thing. Some people like that, some people don't, and in my opinion, in my case, I didn't really like it. I wish he stuck more to the rapping, to the hip-hop scene and everything like that. I don't think branching out to these other genres was really something that he excelled in, but I could appreciate the effort that was put there, obviously, in the album. But the parts he did rap, I thought were pretty great. But let's talk about some other parts of the album, like the features. I think some of the features were a little unnecessary. Like, let's just point it for what it is. I think the Westside Gunn feature was just ridiculous. It was just him spamming his ad-libs, which I don't like Westside Gunn's ad-libs. I think they're horrendous and just ridiculous. And he's just spamming them at the end of Whiskey. And I'm just like, what is the purpose of this? It's not methodical. It's not thought-provoking. It's just, it doesn't evoke anything. It just felt random. And another problem I had with the album is some of these songs, I feel like the outro of every track just felt a little drawn out. Like, my favorite song on the album is Stay Here for Life. I would say that song is damn near perfect. However, I think the outro is completely unnecessary and it takes away from the song. Don't make a song last longer than it needs to. It is unnecessary. Notice how in my top 3 songs, I included Don't Be Dumb, but I didn't include the second half of Don't Be Dumb. Don't Be Dumb, the first 2 minutes of Don't Be Dumb is fantastic. It is damn near perfect. but the second half is a whole different vibe to the song. I think both songs are great. The first half is perfect. The second part is good, but two completely different vibes, right? If I'm chilling with someone, particularly a girl, and if I'm listening to the first half and then the second half comes out, I'm skipping the second half because that part is just a completely different vibe, and I'm not gonna put that on the fucking. I'm just not gonna listen to that part because it's just a whole completely different vibe. Not a bad part, but it's just an odd decision to include those two on one track. It just feels unnecessary, and it's just, why are we including that? But it seems like for a lot of songs just felt drawn out and just unnecessary, particularly songs that I just didn't like. But that was just an issue that I have with on throughout the album with a lot of tracks. I feel like dragging out for unnecessary reasons. When the song is done, it's done. Wrap it up and let's just transition to the next track. We don't need to like elongate these songs just to make it seem longer and more thought-provoking. So let's talk about some of this one song in particular that I genuinely thought was garbage, and that was Shut the Fuck Up, because I'm sorry, that song was just bad. When I was listening to it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Honestly, I don't know what genre that is. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the fuck that was. Maybe dubstep? I genuinely do not know, and I don't want to know. I don't want to experience that ever again. All right, not a diss to him. I really appreciate you trying and putting that out there. When I was listening to Shut the Fuck Up by A$AP Rocky, I felt like I was listening to Pink Tape all over again when Lil Uzi was rocking out on Pink Tape. I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I thought you were a rapper and you're over here like putting some dubstep in my ears, and I'm like, what the hell am I listening to? So, I appreciate the effort. It was something different. It was exciting, but I don't want to hear that ever again. So thank you, A$AP Rocky, blessing my ears with that beautiful instruments. Although some of the songs I didn't really like and resonated with me, I think there is some really great tracks on here, and tracks I do see myself going back to over and over again. And another thing I liked about the album was that it wasn't long. One of my biggest gripes and pet peeves in hip hop, or just in music in general and albums, is they're just too long. Like, no one wants to sit here and listen to 20 tracks straight and just trying to extract the lyrics, the beats, what do they like, what are they gonna go back to, and all that stuff in one listening. Look, people's attention spans are dog shit, right? If you want to go listen to YoungBoy's album, the all 30 tracks, all in one go, not skipping a single thing, if you're one of those people, you are not fucking real. However, I will say, no one just wants to do that. No normal person wants to sit here and listen to 30 tracks in one go, dissect whatever they want to do, take notes, whatever. I didn't do any of that. I don't do that during my album listening. I just put on my headphones and I listen to it. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I listen to the album like twice, 3 times now to see what exactly I liked and what I didn't. First listen, I liked about maybe 4 songs first listen. I gave them back a re-listen because I said, hold up, there's maybe some potential here. I gave it another chance, and it turns out I liked like 5 extra more songs. So that's why sometimes some albums, I'll give it a re-listen if it's worthy of my time. But for the most part, most normal people do not want to listen for an album for over like an hour and a half, right? Like, people just don't want to do that. I remember when Donda came out, that album was long as fuck. And no one wants to listen to an album like 12 a.m. Eastern time when they got like work tomorrow in the morning. Like, no one wants to do that, right? So like, let's just make the album less than an hour long and I'll be happy and I'll just move on with my day. So let's talk about how this album will perform. I think this album is gonna debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200. I was so confident on that, I took a bet on Kalshi that it's gonna go number 1. So this is currently my bet here. I have a bet placed that A$AP Rocky will debut at number 1. I bet $100, and if I win, I'll get $186. So that'd be an $86 profit that I'm pretty sure and confident I will be getting. I think this album is going to perform well commercially, right? I know a lot of people were like, A$AP Rocky's gonna flop and everything like that, and I was just like, I don't think that's true, right? I think the album will do pretty well. I always thought it was gonna do well. I didn't think it was gonna do like Travis Scott numbers, but him promoting his merch, the bundle deals and everything like that, I think some of the merch looked nice enough for people to buy, and I'm like, okay, as long as he abuses that. He got over 35 million streams its first day on Spotify. A lot of them are tracking pretty well on Apple Music and on Spotify in the US in the top 50. So it seems like it's doing pretty well commercially wise. So honestly, I think A$AP Rocky did enough to please some people. I understand that I don't think it was worth 7 years, and I think the features were highly disappointing. Let me tell you the features I wanted. Let's just talk about the first feature that I'm pretty sure everyone wanted and thought was possible only with him. And that's obviously the Rihanna feature. That was the one feature. If I could have had any feature on this album, it would have been Rihanna. We all know Rihanna is practically the GOAT. She's great. She's probably the best pop artist in my opinion. I think she's awesome. I would have loved a feature from her on this album. However, obviously we didn't get that, and we know she's basically retired at this point. She doesn't give features to anyone, and I thought maybe she would be on her man's album that she has like 2 or 3 kids with at this point, but apparently not. I'm gonna blame that for them not actually being married, and A$AP Rocky has never put a ring on it, so that is for him to blame. Other features I wanted were J. Cole to be on the album. I understand Ruby Rosary was a single at one point, but didn't make the album, so he wasn't on here. I wanted a J. Cole feature. I wanted a Denzel Curry feature. I wanted a JID feature. I wanted a Playboi Carti feature, and the Rihanna feature. And honestly, I would have been content with that. What I find ironic is that during the Drake and Kendrick beef, everyone, their mom was dissing Drake. And almost everyone that was dissing Drake who was on the Kendrick side, no one was on A$AP Rocky's album, which I find to be pretty funny. I don't know why he didn't recruit anyone, considering he was literally dissing Travis Scott and Drake on Stole Your Flow. But hey, he can do whatever he wants, but I thought that was a little bizarre that he didn't get any features from anyone like that. Like, it would have been cool to get a Metro feature on here. He could have got like a Yeet feature on there, been a little fun and stuff. But, I mean, it's fine with what we got. A little disappointing on the features. However, I think Brent Faiyaz had a phenomenal performance out of all the features. I thought he did the best. I also think Sauce Walka did amazing on No Snitching. Another phenomenal song in my opinion. But yeah, overall, I really liked the album. I think the first half was miles better than the second half. I think the second half was a little bit of a mess. I hated the outro track at the end. I thought it was just very underwhelming. I think Don't Be Dumb should have been the outro track. The end just felt corny, and it just felt flat for me, and I just didn't really enjoy it. Other than that, the bonus tracks felt random. Like, I understand Tyler the Creator was on one of them, the very last track. The 2 discs, in my opinion, just felt really random. Maybe he was like, these songs don't really fit the album, let's just throw them in there. That's what it felt like, just to boost sales, and I didn't really like that either. Those songs just didn't resonate with me that much. But overall, I think the album was decent, solid enough, but definitely not worth the 7-year wait that some of these diehard fans have been waiting for. And I am truly sorry for some of you for waiting for that long. However, I do think there's like 3 to 5 bangers on this album that people will probably go back to a lot. I do predict that Stay Here for Life and Helicopter are probably going to be the 2 tracks that perform the best, and Stole Your Flow. So those are the 3 tracks I think are going to be the standout tracks that perform the best over time. But overall, I give this album about a 5.5 out of 10, which in my opinion is just on the brink of being good. So was the 7-year wait for this A$AP Rocky worthy for you? And would you listen to this album again? Let me know. And what would you rate it?